when people ask how can Panther fans celebrate being 8-9 in the playoffs, simple. Because things like this don't happen for us often. We don't make it to the playoffs that often. So when we do, we celebrate it as if we won the Super Bowl because we don't know when we're going to be here again.
Tell me what they want to see me for. Hear me out, here we go. It's the Reed Report.
If you're tuning in, you already know what happened. You already know what happened. Or in this case, didn't happen. The Carolina Panthers, again, made it to the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. Had an up and down season. They beat Green Bay, and after the Green Bay game, they alternated wins and losses the rest of the season up until the end, where they lost back-to-back to Seattle and Tampa Bay. But thanks to Atlanta, the Panthers were able to sneak into the playoffs because of a three-way tie in the NFC South with the Bucks, Falcons, and Panthers. I can't believe I'm It's the Panthers report, and I forgot the team name, and that's my squad. But because of that three-way tie, and the Panthers had the best record in the common games against with the three opponents, the Panthers were able to get in the playoffs thanks to the Falcons beating the Saints. Watching the game, yeah, they had it. It was another one of those could have, should have won type games. This one is one I wouldn't say I would put this one in the category of could have won, not more should have. Should have is what the Packers should have. The Packers-Bears game. The Packers should have won that game. They could never get the run game established. The Panthers. I saw Chuba Hubbard on like a 3rd and 2, wide open, in the flats, dropped the 3rd and 2 from Bryce Young. Panthers had to punt the ball away. That was costly right there. And then you saw the Panthers lose the ball on a muffed the punt. The Rams recovered the ball, so there's a loss of possession right there. Of course, you had the Bryce Young interception. And like I said, Rico was nowhere to be found in this game. I think he only rushed it like 5 times, not very many yards. They took the lead late, and even with everything that happened in this game, they still were able to go toe-to-toe with the Rams after falling down 14-0. They were able to score at the end of the second half, and they were able to take the lead in the game. They got the touchdown. It was 2 minutes something left for Matthew Stafford, and for some reason, the coaching staff decides to go into soft coverage, prevent defense against Matthew Stafford, a guy who was likely or maybe will win the MVP award. 40 touchdowns, Matthew Stafford. The Super Bowl champion and MVP, Matthew Stafford. They decide to go prevent defense, soft coverage, with the game on the line, and not just playing straight up, not giving themselves a fair chance, because when you play prevent, you prevent yourself from winning. In that situation, this is not Hail Mary situation. The Rams have a lot of time to drive the ball. They don't need to rush to the line. They don't need to rush timeouts when they make a big play. There's a lot of time, and the Panthers decided to go into that coverage on defense, which was just unacceptable. And then, the Rams score. They take the lead, retake the lead. Panthers get the ball with 38 seconds, and Bryce Young goes 4 consecutive plays with an incompletion. 38 seconds, not moving the ball. They had time and had well enough time to get the ball into field goal range. And on the 4th down, Jimmy Horn Jr., just an inexcusable drop ball. And that is the way the Panthers 2025 season comes to an end. 8-9, won the division for the first time in 10 years, made the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. It was a big turnout. Cam Newton was there. He brought the podcast, the 4th and 1 podcast there. So it was a special moment for the Panthers. I had people not personally, but just social media, who's wondering why, like, Panther fans, like, oh, how can you guys be so excited about being an 8-9 team in the playoffs? Well, look at it like this. The Panthers have been around for 30 years, 30 seasons. They've only made the playoffs 9 times in 30 years. They've had some success, but they've never been inconsistent is what they have been. Never been a consistent franchise in terms of success. 4 conference championship games, 2 Super Bowls. That's nothing to sneeze at because there are teams who still haven't even made the Super Bowl, including the Jags, who's been around the same time as us. But they've been a very inconsistent franchise for the most part. Never had back-to-back winning seasons. Even though they did have 3 consecutive playoff trips, but in the middle of that, you had the 7-8-1 season back in 2014. So they never had back-to-back winning seasons. The only franchise that has that blemish in their history. So when people ask, how can Panther fans celebrate being 8-9 in the playoffs? Simple. Because things like this don't happen for us often. We don't make it to the playoffs that often. So when we do, we celebrate it as if we won the Super Bowl because we don't know when we're going to be here again. Now, things are looking way better this year than they have in years past. I'm very, very encouraged by this season, but in a season to where they had so many games, the only discouraging thing is they lost. This very well could have been a 12-13 win team. They didn't fully take advantage of what they had. Panthers never been a very consistent franchise. So when moments like these come around, we celebrate it. They made it to the playoffs. When I started watching 2005, they didn't make it again for 3 years. They made it in 2008. They didn't make it again for 5 years. And then they made it the year after that and the year after that. And then they missed it in 2016, made it in 2017. And this is the first time since then. So I'll take it. The Packers just lost to the Bears. The Packers are a team that are constantly in the playoffs. For all those who wondering, oh, why Panther fans so excited about being 8-9 in the playoffs? The Packers are constantly in the playoffs. Matt LaFleur's tenure. Let's just go there. We ain't even got to go Aaron Rodgers. The 1 seed 3 years in a row, Green Bay Packers. Lost the NFC Championship, lost division round. 2022 missed the playoffs. In the last 3 years, including this one, they were a 7th seed. They won a playoff game against Dallas. They just lost a game they should have won to the Bears. They should have won that game. So I say all that to say the Packers, there's levels to this. Green Bay is constantly in the playoffs and coming up short. As a Panther fan, we wish that was our problem. The fact that we constantly make the playoffs but don't win the championship. Our problem is we don't always make the playoffs. So that's why this is and was an exciting and successful season, because this doesn't happen very often. But again, that's the reason. So we're going to talk more about what changes need to be made, who needs to go. Xavier Legette did not show up this year as a number 2 receiver, as the guy who was drafted in the first round last year was demoted basically to number 3. Coker is way better. And there are some changes. There are some fixes. We do have our coach. The quarterback has to fix some things. We do have our quarterback, but there are things that need to be fixed ASAP. But we're going to leave it there for now. Again, fun season. I appreciate you guys for taking this time to hear me out on this one. We're going to keep pounding all the way into the next season. So thank you, and just get better for next year.
Tell me what they wanna see me for. Hear me out, here we go. It's the Report.